morning, everyone. We're just going to have a quick ELA lesson today. I know you're working really hard on your story mountain last week and starting to plan your story. Our goal for this week is to have some mini lessons to help you be more specific and more detailed in your story. And the end goal is actually to be better writers. So today we're going to focus on the setting of a story, okay? And I would also like you to write an I can statement, and I'll squeeze that into the top right corner here, and hopefully you can too. Okay? I can add detail to my setting using the 5 senses. And way back from grade 1, 2, you guys remember that the 5 senses are seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, and smelling. Okay? All right, so basically what we're going to do is read through this together. I'm going to do a little bit of explanation, and then I'm going to kind of do a live version 1, and then you guys are going to try by yourself. Okay, so firstly, I think we all know this already, but let's highlight the important information. The setting is where the story takes place, of course. And it is the most important part of an adventure story. Now, lots of people think, what? Surely the plot, surely the character, surely the ending is the most important. But it's actually the story. So let's talk about why. So the first thing I have to do is think of a setting for my story. So on your story mountain, hopefully by now you've thought of a setting. Are you in the jungle? Are you in the mountains? Are you on a boat in the ocean? Who knows? That's up to you guys, okay? But I've chosen mountains. And I like to go snowboarding in the mountains in the winter, so that's what I've come up with. So first I've kind of like pictured the mountains. And guys, try and choose a setting that you're familiar with. It's really hard to describe a detailed setting of somewhere where you haven't been. And if you haven't been there and you still want to write about it, that's okay, but watch some videos about that setting. Try and place yourself in that setting. Watch movies about that setting. So once I've chosen my setting, which is the mountains in winter, where I also like to go snowboarding, I need to describe what I would see, hear, feel, taste, and smell by filling in this chart down here. So once you've filled in this chart, you guys don't have to use every single detail. But the more detail you have, the better your story will be. So let's go through a couple examples. Things that I would see on a mountain in the winter. Well, of course, I'm going to see mountains. I'm going to see white snow, blue sky, even though that's been cut off. The bright sun, which is reflecting off the snow. Maybe I see some clouds. I see other skiers and snowboarders. Lots of things going on. People going over jumps, people drinking hot chocolate, people going on rails. Those are the kind of details I want to actually see if I was at the mountains. Okay, things I might hear. So when you go down a hill really fast on a snowboard, I don't know if you guys have, but you kind of you hear this wind in your ears. You hear chairlifts, you hear snowmobiles, you hear people actually on the snow, which is kind of like a whoosh, whoosh sound. You hear people talking and laughing, crunching of snow, hooting and hollering, snowboarding. All of those things are things you might hear on a mountain. Then I want to go over to things I would feel, okay? Maybe I feel some wind, the goggles are digging into my face, I'm feeling thrilled or excited, I'm feeling the chairlift going back and forth in the wind, so on and so forth, okay? Things that I'm tasting. Okay, well maybe when I'm on the hill, I'm actually tasting snow in my mouth. I'm sure you guys have had that, or if you've never been to somewhere with snow, it's kind of like a ice cold, makes your tongue numb, kind of like a snow cone or ice cream. Maybe you're having hot chocolate or fries in the cafeteria. Maybe you're having trail mix as a snack, warm cinnamon buns, who knows? Those are things that you might taste on the hill. Now let's go to smell, my favorite. Mountain air. That is, Sorry, guys. That is the most important thing that I get to smell on the mountains. I don't know why that's not working. There we go. Pine trees, like the smell of big evergreen or pine tree. Maybe you can smell someone's breath. Hopefully it's nice breath though. Maybe you can smell the hot chocolate. You're going down the mountain and you get that, oh, they're making hot chocolate in the lodge. Maybe you're smelling sweaty things. Maybe you're smelling a fire, pizza. That is a detailed description of a setting. Like I said, you don't have to use every single one of these things in your story, but the more detail you have, the more your reader can be pulled into your story. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you guys. So I had mountains in the snow, snowboarding with my friends as our first example. Now I'm going to think of a second example to give you guys some more ideas. Once again, I recommend that you guys choose your own setting. I wouldn't just go with one that I've already done. Or if you're picking one of mine, be way more specific. Or do something to, if I pick jungle, you pick jungle at night with a tiger following me. Or if I pick ocean, you pick ocean in the mid-afternoon with sharks circling around me, okay? The more specific you are, the better it is. So I'm just going to choose my setting is space. The final frontier. Okay? I'm going to choose space. Now, space is a hard one because I haven't actually been to space. Of course, I wish. But I've seen lots of movies. I think I can imagine quite a few things about space. So now I'm thinking about my setting. I'm thinking about movies I've seen. I'm thinking about shows I might have seen. I'm thinking about what other people say about space. And I'm thinking about the 5 senses. So what would I see in space? So maybe I'd see my space station. Maybe I'm staying on the space station. That's what I want to talk about in my story. Okay, maybe I see my fellow astronauts, my friends. Maybe I can see Earth from my window. Of course, I can see stars, the sun. Maybe I can see a new planet. Maybe we're on our spaceship trying to find new planets, new life forms. Okay, so those are some things that I see. What can I hear? Well, space is actually probably pretty quiet if I'm outside the shuttle, but I'm going to pretend I'm inside of my space station, my shuttle. So I'm hearing lots of beeping of machines. I'm hearing my friends talking. Maybe I'm hearing, if you guys have ever seen like a simulation of a space station, they actually have these toilets that they're kind of like bathroom toilets, if you guys have ever been in those. And it's kind of, as soon as you flush, it's like a crazy loud suction noise. So I'm going to write suction noise because I feel like I would hear that if I was on the space shuttle. Okay, maybe I hear ground control. So if you guys have ever seen any space movies, there's kind of always someone on the Earth saying, "Hello, astronauts. Can you give us an update?" Maybe you're hearing static, like on the radio when you're between channels, and it's kind of like, those are some things. Or maybe I hear doors sliding open, or hangars, or chambers, whatever their lingo is on the space shuttle. Things I might feel. Well, maybe I would feel weightless. Maybe there's no gravity. So I'm kind of floating around. I feel weightless. I feel like the opposite of heavy and down. I'm also going to say maybe I feel scared. Space is a huge place. I'm probably feeling, oh my gosh, I'm in a place where most people haven't been. That's kind of scary. Maybe I'm also excited. Maybe I'm about to do my first spacewalk. Maybe I'm going to describe how my spacesuit feels. Not many people have been in a spacesuit. What does that actually feel like? Is it soft? Is it tin-foily? Is it shiny and smooth? What does it actually feel like? Maybe I'm feeling the water in little droplets. Because if you are in a weightless area and you spill some water, maybe the water is floating around in the air. Maybe you feel cold. Space is a really cold place. So maybe you're feeling quite cold. What am I tasting on the space shuttle? So the first thing I think of is that funny, dry, packaged food. It's probably pretty bland tasting, not much flavor. Plain food, if you want to write that as well. Plain food. Not like airplane, like this doesn't really have much flavor. Maybe I'm tasting sweat rolling down my head while I'm outside the shuttle trying to fix something on the shuttle. And I can feel sweat pouring down my head and panicking. Who knows? Maybe I'm tasting dry air. You know, when you've been on a plane for a long time and you can kind of taste how dry the air is and how kind of like your skin starts to dry out. That might also go under feel actually, but I would also taste that, I think. Maybe I can taste my morning coffee, even though I don't like coffee. Some of you guys do. I need a coffee in the morning. I'm an astronaut. I got a huge day of work ahead of me. I need some coffee. Maybe I can taste my gum. Maybe I'm chewing gum to make sure my ears are equalized to the pressure all the time. Maybe I've got some gum. What kind of gum? Mint, bubble gum. Remember, the more detailed, the better. Okay, what can I smell? So smell is the hard one in space, I feel like, because, you know, there's not a lot going on except in the shuttle. But I would say smell the food that you microwaved, because they have little ways to heat up their food, the microwaved food. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. Microwaved food. Maybe I can smell sweat. Mine, someone else's, who knows? That coffee that I tasted, maybe I can smell sweet coffee. You know, when you get that first smell of coffee in the morning, you think that's really nice. Okay, what else can I smell? Maybe I can smell the shower. So there are these like crazy cool kind of showers on the space shuttle, and you guys should look it up. It's actually really interesting. So maybe someone in the shower is using some kind of lotion or soap. You should also actually Google how astronauts wash their hair in space, because it is so cool. Okay, what else can I smell? Let's say burning. Now, who knows? I haven't planned my story as well as you guys have, but maybe something has gone wrong with the arm on the shuttle and I have to go out there. Maybe I can smell this burning, so I know something is wrong, which would be a really cool way to start a story, like a suspense of something going wrong on a space shuttle, right? But we'll get to that later. But if I feel burning, if I smell burning, then I'm feeling panic. But you can also add that to your feeling column. Maybe I can also smell if we've landed on another planet. Who knows how far into my story I am? I'm kind of thinking more in the beginning, but maybe I'm smelling new smells, completely new smells, things I've never smelt before on a new planet, new kinds of plants, new kinds of animals, new kinds of nutrients. Who knows, right? So those are things that I might smell. So guys, I didn't want you to copy what I just did. I'm just showing you what it should look like for you to plan your setting. Okay, so now I want you to take this sheet that I've just drawn all over, and you've got a copy in your folder on Edmodo, and I want you to start planning your setting. So it doesn't have to be space or the mountains in the winter or a jungle or wherever. I want it to be based on the story that you started planning last week. If you thought, last week I wasn't in it to win it, now I'm feeling like, oh, I have a really cool setting idea. Awesome. Then change it. This is your time to really think about it and start getting details. Okay? So by the end of today, I want you to be finished this setting page, and tomorrow we're moving on to characters. Okay? Great work, everyone. And as usual, if you have any questions, please message me, Mr. Matt, or Miss Mavish. Okay? See ya. Tony.
The prophecy is true.